There is an inward aspect of us. When the Quran says Allah loves those who make tawbah regularly and He loves those who are purified, He's not just talking about those who make wudu a lot. Tawbah is a great thing. What goes with it? What is the inward state that's necessary for a tawbah? Just to say astaghfirullah wa atubu ilay is not tawbah. That's just the tongue doing its job in the mouth. In itself, not an effort, not interesting. The tawbah is from the heart. It's when we sincerely recognize that we have violated the moral law, and when weeping and stooping we come to the Lord of glory and vow, as a sign of the sincerity of that tawbah, that we won't go back to doing what we did that was so destructive to others and probably to ourselves as well. So it's a kind of inward thing, and it's a form of tahara. So let's look at one of the great ethical theorists of Islam, where he looks at this idea of tahara. What is it? He says there's 4 degrees. This is Imam Abu Hamid al-Ghazali, rahmatullahi alayh, one of the great ethical writers in our tradition. He says there's 4 degrees of this tahara. Firstly, tathir, at-tathiru min al-ahdathi wal-akhbath. These are fiqh terms. Ahdath means events that happen to you, bodily events that mean that you break your wudu. So being purified from that. Akhbath means things, substances that are impure, napak in some of our languages, that are upon your body or your clothes that can invalidate the prayer and some other things that you do. So that's the first degree, that tahara. But he says there's a second degree. Tathirul jawarih min al-jara'imi wal-atham. To purify your limbs and your senses from crimes and sins. So we know instinctively that there is an impurity that comes when we do something wrong. And Imam Ali karramallahu wajhahu says, when you sin, there's a black spot that comes on the heart. It's a kind of dirt that comes within, and we intuit that. When we do something really bad, we feel somehow polluted. It's part of human psychology. It's called the Macbeth effect by secular psychologists. Remember, out foul spot with Lady Macbeth as the hand is scrubbed, but the blackness from the murder can't go away. And we want to wash very often when we have been subject to violations or when we have done something wicked. It's part of the human self. And the rituals of wudu are part of that good psychology. It helps us to feel that we have got rid of some of those sins and that we are more suited to face Rabb al-Izzah, the Lord of Glory. So purifying the limbs, including the eyes, not looking at impure things, things we shouldn't look at, not tasting things that are haram, not listening to haram talk, not doing things with the hands and the feet and so forth that are not accepted in the sunnah. That also is a kind of purity. We can purify our physical form without using water. And then the Imam moves on to the 3rd degree. And he says, Tathirul qalb anil akhlaqil madmuma. Purifying the heart from ugly traits of character. If I have jealousy in my heart, or a tendency to tell lies, or a tendency to be greedy, or we have so many tendencies, we all know where our weakness lies, to purify the heart of those things. In other words, that black spot can be washed away, and the bad qualities that come about when that dirt accumulates can be reformed. People with bad akhlaq can become people of good akhlaq through some kind of inner purification. And the basis of this is dhikrullah, reading Quran, regular in your prayers, remembering the formulas of dhikr, saying astaghfirullah, la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel. All of these phrases that naturally spring to the tongue of the believer, all of this has an effect, as it were. It's kind of spiritual laundry. Cleans up all of that grime and the dirt and those stains within, and we really need that. This also is one of the meanings for the Imam of Tahara. And the 4th degree, which in our age, with our weakness and our hearts full of confusion and darkness, we can hardly imagine, he calls at-tathiru sirri amma siwa Allah. Subhanallah. purifying the innermost nature of your consciousness from anything that is other than Allah. In other words, never forgetting Him. Wherever you look, whatever you do, you're remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because you know that His ma'iyah, His witness, is constant. Ma'akum aynama kuntum. He is always with you. He is with you. Are you always with Him? You are, but do you know it? Do you remember His name, Ar-Raqib, the watching? Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. But this highest degree of purity, and subhanAllah, what a beautiful person that would create, is the person who is constantly in the state of remembering Allah and seeing everything that happens in the world as what Allah is doing at that time.